Daily routine in Spanish, la rutina diaria. Hola! In this video you will learn to talk about your daily routine in Spanish. First, we will show you some common activities in Spanish for a daily routine. Then some important questions you may need in a conversation, how to make sentences to answer those questions, and finally, a simple conversation about daily routines in Spanish. Let's begin. Common daily routine activities in Spanish. Actividades en una rutina diaria. Many of the activities in a daily routine are actually represented by reflexive verbs, a verb in infinitive plus the reflexive pronoun se. Here are a few of these activities. Despertarse, levantarse, bañarse, afeitarse, cepillarse los dientes, vestirse. Let's review the pronunciation of these words. Despertarse, levantarse, bañarse, afeitarse, cepillarse, and vestirse. Some activities are represented by simple verbs in infinitive like desayunar, without the pronoun se at the end of the verb. Here are some more activities in Spanish. Peinarse, maquillarse, desayunar, almorzar, cenar, hacer los quehaceres, hacer la tarea, dormirse. Let's go over the pronunciation of these activities. Peinarse, maquillarse, desayunar, almorzar, cenar, hacer los quehaceres, hacer la tarea, dormirse. Common questions for daily routines in Spanish. Preguntas sobre la rutina. To ask about a daily routine, we may use the question, ¿cuál es tu rutina diaria? Or the verb hacer following this structure. Que plus hacer, often conjugated as haces, hace, and hacen, plus pronoun, plus a time expression. A simple question using this structure would be, ¿qué haces todos los días? To sum up, the two basic questions you need are, ¿cuál es tu rutina diaria? And, ¿qué haces todos los días? Other important time expressions you could use are, por la mañana, por la tarde, por la noche, and el fin de semana. Here are a few more questions using these expressions. ¿Qué haces tú por la mañana? ¿Qué haces por la tarde? ¿Qué hacen ustedes por la noche? ¿Qué hace usted el fin de semana? Some notes about reflexive verbs in Spanish. Los verbos reflexivos. As we mentioned before, some activities in Spanish are represented by reflexive verbs. A regular verb usually ends in ar, ir, but a reflexive verb ends in se, like despertarse and bañarse, unlike the verbs hacer and desayunar. Know that hacer is an irregular verb in Spanish, so be careful to conjugate it right. On the other hand, to conjugate reflexive verbs, we follow the rules for regular verbs but add a reflexive pronoun before the conjugation to make clear who is being affected by the action. For example, yo me baño. The word me indicates that I am the one who takes a shower. We follow this structure to conjugate reflexive verbs in Spanish. Personal pronoun plus reflexive pronoun me, te, se, nos, os plus a verb. Here is how we conjugate the verb bañarse. Yo me baño, tú te bañas, él se baña, ella se baña, nosotros nos bañamos, ustedes se bañan, vosotros os bañáis, ellos se bañan. Despertar, dormir, and vestir are actually stem-changing verbs in Spanish, so they are conjugated a little differently. For example, for despertarse, we have to say yo me despierto and not yo me desperto. Making sentences about your daily routine. Haciendo oraciones sobre tu rutina. Now that we have discussed a little about reflexive verbs and pronouns in Spanish, we can create simple sentences. We may add the specific time that we do an activity using a las plus time. Here are some examples. Yo me despierto a las 6. Me visto a las 6:30. Remember that personal pronouns are optional in Spanish. Here are some more examples using non-reflexive Spanish verbs. Yo desayuno a las 7 de la mañana. Yo leo el periódico a las 2 de la tarde. Know that we can use hobbies in Spanish like leer el periódico or chores too, as they are also activities. In the last two sentences we added the time expressions de la mañana and de la tarde. You can create sentences about other people's routine. Here are a few of them. Fernando hace la tarea después de almorzar. Ariana se maquilla y se peina antes de ir al trabajo. Los niños se cepillan los dientes antes de dormirse. The expression antes de means before in Spanish, and después de means after. In the last example, you can see that we said antes de dormirse. Since we are talking about ellos, los niños, we must add se at the end of the verb dormir. This only happens when we use these expressions. If the last sentence were about me, I would say, yo me cepillo los dientes antes de dormirme, changing se for me at the end of the verb. Some important notes about a daily routine. You can use several activities in the same sentence, just separate them using commas. Yo me afeito a las 7, me visto a las 7:15 y desayuno a las 7:30. Ella se baña a las 8, se maquilla a las 8:30 y se va al trabajo a las 9. We often use sequencing words like primero, luego, después, and por último to link activities. Here are some examples. Primero hago los quehaceres y luego hago la tarea. Ella cocina el desayuno primero, luego hace los quehaceres y por último se va al trabajo. A conversation about daily routines in Spanish. Hablando de la rutina diaria. It's time to put everything together in a conversation about a daily routine in Spanish.
¿Cuál es tu rutina diaria, Marcos?
Bueno, yo me despierto a las 8 de la mañana, me baño, me cepillo los dientes, me visto y me voy al trabajo. ¿Cuál es tu rutina?
Yo me despierto a las 6, hago los quehaceres y cocino el desayuno mientras los niños se bañan. ¿Qué haces tú por la tarde?
Regreso del trabajo a las 5, veo televisión un rato y luego ceno con mi familia. ¿Qué haces tú?
En la tarde trabajo unas horas y cuando los niños llegan a la casa les ayudo con la tarea. Ellos almuerzan y juegan un rato también. En la noche cenamos, vemos televisión y por último nos dormimos.
Gracias for watching this video. Check the main lesson to learn more and practice. Subscribe for more. Hasta pronto.